just outside of Florence here in Italy. Welcome along to Mugello, what is usually home of the MotoGP Italian Grand Prix, now plays host to Formula One. The city of Florence serves as a gateway to discover Tuscany, the birthplace of the Italian Renaissance. And what a place to have our own Renaissance, because we're back in rural Italy for the second week running. The Mugello circuit opened in 1974. It's hold no other configurations, no alterations. This is one of the true great tracks on the planet. It's high speed, high downforce, high drama, 43.2 meter elevation change throughout the lap as well. And our first time here for Formula One looks to be dramatic. Keep an eye out for these. Your tyres. The soft tyre is the C4. It's the C3. The medium, the C2. The hard is the C1. The medium tyre is 9/10 laps slower. The hard, 1.6 seconds per lap slower. The beautiful mountains surround this beautiful valley and the beautiful track. Track temperature, 46 degrees. Air temperature, 29 degrees. If you're watching this in the States or use the Fahrenheit system, it's 114 Fahrenheit and air temperature at 84 Fahrenheit. It is absolutely roasting. Humidity at 40 degrees. A wind speed, 13.3 kilometers, blowing towards the north as well. It has been all morning as well. It's a beautiful circuit, just 15 corners in total. But it is a high-speed track. You're full throttle around here for 46.9% of the lap. Top speed, 204 miles per hour. As I said, it's a high downforce circuit and a high tyre wear circuit as well. Alongside me in the commentary box will be Megan Birch. Once she gets down into the commentary box, she's just gathering her last bit of notes before she joins the broadcast. And we have round about 3 minutes to go until the green light goes on and the first part of qualifying is underway. And I'm looking forward to this one because we saw in the Formula 2 and the Formula 3 qualifying yesterday that track position here is key. It's a bit like Monaco and Hungary. You can get caught up in other people's laps and it will affect you quite a lot. So keep your fingers crossed because we're in for a dramatic qualifying ahead. I've swapped sitting down to standing up. And with it, you can see the roof of the commentary box where we're currently standing in as well, just getting ready. And Ferrari celebrating their 1000th Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel just sat there in the burgundy scarlet type Ferrari colours with the hand-painted 5 as his racing number. Hark back, of course, to the Ferrari 125 back from 1950s Monaco Grand Prix. Race control looking a little bit different. There's Michael Masi, who will be looking at one corner in particular, turn number 14, which is now going to be monitored by the stewards after we saw quite a lot running off of that corner in the last practice session. If we flick the screen up, here it is, look. The FIA track limits update at turn 14. A driver will be judged to have left the track if no part of the car remains in contact with the red, white and green apex curb. Because we saw not only Sergio Perez, but Alexander Albon, Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas, and then Sergio Perez, all cutting that part of the track. And it will give you an advantage. It's a straight line corner. As Megan said this morning, in the third practice session commentary we did live, it is a difficult part of the track to get right, and it should really be a flat-out complex. There's Pierre Gasly, the top Italian team currently in Formula One after victory at their home race in Monza. Can they repeat anything like that this weekend, whether it be points or a podium? Well, let's hope it is points because he's 8th in the championship. He's in a midfield battle with Stroll, Norris, Albon, Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz, all the way down to Ricciardo completing out the top 10. It is an absolute dogfight for the midfield teams. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, McLaren, Racing Point, Renault, Ferrari, even AlphaTauri joining that battle in the mid-teams. Mercedes running away with it. They are over 100 clear of the cars. And the green light is on. And the first part of qualifying is underway for the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix, a new race venue here at Mugello, and cars already heading out onto the track in the form of George Russell, who missed part of the third practice session due to a gearbox issue. He's now back out on the track, and joining me in the commentary box is Megan Birch. Megan, good afternoon. Welcome to Tuscany. It's a beautiful racetrack. You've driven 25 laps around here on the simulator. You know exactly what part of the track can catch drivers out.
Yes, I do, because it caught me out many a time. Like around about half of those 20 laps.
Half of the 20 laps, we were pretty much going off left and right. Do you get your questions in on the YouTube chat question as well, as we are live? As we see George Russell, he's reached Q2 5 times in 2020. Is there any chance of him doing that again today? Well, he's been off there or thereabouts in practice, but he's looking quite good. He could do it and get through here today, Megan.
Yeah, he could do that. And I just find it so interesting that Latifi is the top person right now.
Yep, Latifi.
Out on the field.
Latifi and Russell both out on the track. Russell crosses the start-finish line now to start his first time on the board. It's a dramatic uphill section as you drop downhill towards turn 1 and turn 2. Keep the car flicking towards the left. Megan, you know that turn 2 and 3 here, it feeds in towards the braking zone. It's quite easy to run off the track, a bit like we saw Lando Norris do yesterday.
Yeah, it is quite a... what's the word for going off track all the time?
Dramatic, slippery.
Slippery.
There you go. I was wondering where you were going to go with that one. But down towards the Acrobata corners 1 and 2. And this bit is just flat out uphill. But it can catch you out if you're not going, as you said, fast enough. Because it will just spit you out and chew you up and everything.
Around this part, I went too fast.
This is downhill 10, 11, and 12.
I crashed into the barrier.
It's easy to do. We're expecting a very dramatic qualifying. Only Russell and Latifi out on the track at the moment, as I've just got the driver tracker up on our monitors, and I'm looking at it here now. But we've only got Russell and Latifi out. I'm surprised, Megan, because nobody else wants to head out on the track. Everyone, I think, a bit too scared. They're going to get caught up in everybody else's drama, I think.
Yeah.
Russell, first to complete a lap time across the board. And our first time on is a 1:18.024. Nicholas Latifi in second at the moment is just coming through the last 2 corners. And as you said earlier on, Megan, about the straight lining, exactly what Latifi just did, straight lining that little chicane at turn 14. The stewards have now said, because you spotted it in FP3, the stewards have now said if you go over that time, your lap time will be deleted. So that is the only track limit they're looking at this weekend, which which is fair. Everything else is determined by the gravel traps.
Latifi goes faster than Russell.
1:17.924. You're right to point that out, because so far in the 8 races in 2020, it's been Russell out qualifying Latifi 8-0. And that is a shocking stat. He had that last year over Robert Kubica as well. Simon Roberts, the acting team principal at Williams. Of course, this is Williams' first ever race weekend without a Williams family member in control of the team. Even when Frank had his accident in 1986, Ginny took over, his wife, as well as Patrick Head. Out come the 2 Mercedes though, Megan.
They actually Williams seems to be doing better.
Slightly. They've had an okay weekend so far as we go into the transition period. But here comes the 2 Mercedes. Hamilton coming out ahead of Bottas. And these two, I don't want to say are going to have a ding-dong, but this time I think it's Hamilton gone out ahead of Bottas. Exactly what should have happened last weekend as well. So Hamilton giving Bottas the toe, but is that going to change in Q3? Whose turn is it? Because Hamilton nicked Bottas's go last weekend in Italy. Here comes Max Verstappen. Practice 1 second, practice 2 third, practice 3 second. Switching around a little bit, but he's been Mr. Consistent this weekend, hasn't he?
He has been Mr. Consistent, to be honest.
You've given him a tip for pole position against Bottas.
Is that right?
Yes, that is Raikkonen just coming on the track. You've given.
I have given him pole position in my mind.
Yes, Max Verstappen. You've given him the pole position. But let's just see what the Mercedes can do. Because, of course, you must remember this is our second ever race weekend without the power unit modes turned up to 11. No party mode tricks anymore. They've all got to run the same engine unit in practice 3 qualifying and the race. So no changing as Kimi Raikkonen starts a lap, drops down the hill towards turn 1 into camper. Very heavy on the brakes. Rev up towards turn 2, which immediately is the braking zone as you flick to the left and the right in turn 2 and 3. And then 4 and 5, carbon copy of 1 and 2. It's another left, then right. But then you start really dropping through the hill as you come to turn 6 at Casanova before the Acquirabata 1 and 2 corners. And Raikkonen, mega fast through Casanova, right down now towards Acquirabata 1. And Megan, as you know, uphill as Raikkonen's finding out, it spits you off if you're not controlling the line.
I feel like he's turning into like 2002 Raikkonen.
He does seem to be turning into 2002 Raikkonen, doesn't he? Of course, as you mentioned, this is, of course, 20 years ago, this weekend, was his first ever test in a Formula 1 car with Sauber in 2000. So, yeah, that was 8
He's
that was
been
20 years
in
ago
this
today.
20 years. How is
20 seasons, 19. You joined in 2001.
What's the longest for a driver to be in?
Schumacher was on and off. Raikkonen's been on and off. So I would say Barrichello. Barrichello was in it from 1990, something like 1989 until 2010. So I think he's got the longest. We'll double check that.
He wins.
Yes, he does. Stroll goes top of the board, a 1:16.701. Giovinazzi goes second, followed by Raikkonen third, and that's already dropping Latifi and Russell down the order as well. Verstappen is looking quite good though as we get Sergio Perez into second. Stroll top, Perez. Then we'll look at Lando Norris. Personal best, sectors 2 and 3. No time on the board, obviously, but he's going quicker than the top 4, and he goes fourth. 1:17.350. Hamilton already setting up the timing screens with purples. Sainz goes third, a 1:17.091 in the McLaren. On board with the black liveried Mercedes-Benz, the Black Arrows they're called this year. That always used to be, for me, the Arrows team, which used to run a black livery before they became the Orange Arrows. To the line for Hamilton then, and he's top, a 1:15.778. Now,
I'm surprised though, he's not that far off from Stroll.
That's quite a quick lap time. Is Bottas going to beat it? Yes, he does, a 1:15.749. Already, the time's starting to come down once again, quicker and quicker. Verstappen third, a 1:16.335. Kvyat sixth, 1:17.078. The time's improving massively here so far.
I want to know whether Verstappen will beat the time.
Well, I'm hoping he does. He's 5/10 off the pace at the moment, but they're all on the soft compound tyres. Q2 will be interesting to see what they're actually going to go on in terms of a race pace. Are they going to start on the softs or are they going to start on the mediums? I don't think anybody's going to start on the hard compound tyre, personally, unless they're starting right at the back. But in terms of qualifying pace, can't see anybody taking that. What do you think?
I think maybe they'll go on mediums.
Mediums. Yeah, I'm thinking mediums. Do you get in touch on the YouTube chat? Get your questions in. We want to know during the breaks as well. I think we've got a little issue with the counter, so we'll just keep up with that one and hopefully we'll get it through. I have my device on my wrist so I can see everything as well. 9 minutes to go then. Vettel drops down the hill towards turns 2 and 3. Quite dramatic, Sebastian Vettel this weekend. He's been throwing the car beyond its limits, just touched the gravel at the exit of turn 5 as he comes into Casablanca. But seriously, Casanova, not Casablanca. That's a whole different movie. Through Casanova, up through the Aragabata 1 and 2 corners. But yeah, Vettel really taking in the Ferrari 1000th Grand Prix and then goes and sticks a massive middle finger up to the rest of the team by announcing he's going to Racing Point on the eve of their 1000th race. I mean, the team drop him. It's his prerogative to decide where he goes and when he announces it. He's chosen this weekend a bit deliberately. Sorry, Mace, to cut across you. Lap times have been deleted by the stewards. Yes, Russell and Latifi's times have been dropped down the board. So that's why we're seeing some changes at the moment, as Vettel is currently leading Latifi on the road, and Vettel crosses the line, goes 10th, a 1:17.343. Magnussen crosses the line, no time, 14th. Russell on the cusp of the elimination zone, but we haven't had everyone set their times yet. Here comes Leclerc. He goes 6th, a 1:17.048. So Leclerc gets safely through. Watch out for Vettel maybe not to make it through.
The top 3 have just...
They're all pitting. Yeah, 4 now as Stroll comes in. There we go. Ricciardo goes 10th. Giovinazzi's gone into 12th. Ocon 11th. And everyone else is coming into the pit lane. Russell.
Norris is in there as well.
Russell, 19th at the moment. Is he going to rock it up? Gasly goes 15th. Here comes Russell to the line. 20th. 17th. He can't improve on his opening run. And that's not great news for George Russell.
Let's hope Latifi actually gets through to qualifying too.
Well, if Latifi does get through to qualifying too, I'll be incredibly surprised.
So wouldn't that be the first time?
Yes, it would. He hasn't got through. Only George Russell has qualified into Q2 so far this year. Latifi got close at the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, but got eliminated out, and he's very wide at the exit of turn 15's hairpin. To the line for Latifi. Where did he qualify? He's looking good to Gasly. 13th! Knock your socks off! The Canadian is here.
He's out-qualified Vettel.
He's out-qualified Vettel. You're right there. 1:17.320 for Latifi. He goes into 13th place. As you say, Megan, ahead of Vettel, ahead of Norris, Gasly, Raikkonen, and then his teammate Russell is in 18th place. That was a brilliant lap time from Latifi, and you called it spot on. He was going to be able to out-qualify his own teammate. Here comes Pierre Gasly now, and he's caught in a... There's only 5 cars out on track, and he's caught up between Albon and Ricciardo. I mean, what's the chances of that? He's going to get a nice tow, but as I said, all weekend long, this part of the track is not good if you get a tow and he's boxed. So
Latifi's currently the only one out.
And I think he's going to come in this lap, so I think we're going to be in for a little bit of a reset with 5 minutes to go of this session. So let's run through the order. It's Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen. Then it's Stroll and Perez, the top 5. Albon is 6th from Leclerc, Kvyat, Sainz, Ricciardo, the top 10. Ocon 11th, Giovinazzi 12th, Latifi, surprising everyone, Megan, in 13th place. Fantastic. Sebastian Vettel, rather worryingly, is 14th fastest and could face the Q2 elimination. Could face Q1 as well, because we've got Norris improving slowly. He will. Then in the elimination zone, we've got some strong candidates. Gasly, sure he'll improve up the order. I think he was impeded on his lap. Raikkonen, well, touch and go. He's been there or thereabouts this weekend. Russell, we're expecting to improve. Grosjean and Magnussen, 19th and 20th. The 2 Haas cars were at the back in FP2 and don't seem to be improving that much. As we look on them now, they're going to fit a new set of soft compound tyres.
Yeah, I thought I just saw a bunch of softs.
Yeah, probably the best thing to go on at the moment, to properly go for it, as we are waiting and wondering what's going to happen next. 4 minutes 38 to go of Q1. And this is where the tension really starts. And look, the time to beat, Megan, 1:17.350 for Norris. And looking at that, I think Gasly and Raikkonen would easily beat that. And I'm just wondering if Russell can find a 10th.
Maybe.
Magnussen's the biggest to improve, though. He's 5/10 off the pace of even Norris's time, and he's 2.183 seconds off of Bottas's time in the total. Look at that. Luis Camilleri, the chief executive officer of Ferrari here, the big boss of Ferrari, right at the back of the garage on their 1000th Grand Prix. And that is the Ferrari red with an FIA homologation sticker to the left of it. And 3 minutes 50 seconds to go. Sergio Perez rounding the track at the moment. A man who is currently driverless for 2021. We're talking about this a bit in Free Practice 3 this morning, Megan. Where exactly do we think he could go? I said
Haas.
IndyCar, but you say Haas.
Hopefully.
Replacing Grosjean?
Maybe. I mean, I think Grosjean should have like a year off, maybe.
You're going for Grosjean a year off?
Yeah, maybe.
I can see it, but
he might come back stronger.
Yeah, well, he did that in 2010 and came back stronger in 2012, but then came back as a wrecking ball for 2012.
Which is good. I like that.
Well, you might have a bit of an interesting weekend for drama. Look at this. They're all coming out together. We're getting another situation, guys.
I just look around and it looks like...
It's a train.
It looks like a bunch of Smarties.
Yeah, it really does, because we've got Perez, who's just got through the group, but out behind him, we've got, I'm having to lean in to actually read it, Magnussen, Ocon, Grosjean, Raikkonen, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Raikkonen, all involved in a train. Then we got Ricciardo with a tiny bit of free air, Sainz, Albon, Leclerc, Vettel, Norris, Hamilton. They're all coming out. And this is the problem we were talking about. It's a Monza situation. They're too close together on the track. They don't need a tow, but they're all going out because the computer says this is the optimum time to go out. And it's costing them position on the track because now they're all going to have to back off. 2 minutes 15 left. A 1 minute 15 lap time. It's going to be very, very tricky to see what is going to happen next. We're approaching 2 minutes to go in the first part of qualifying here for the Tuscan Grand Prix. And the 2 minute signal just comes on the board as Sergio Perez rounds the final corner on what is probably his first of 2 runs. He's 5th at the moment. Does he improve? Bad second sector. Improves a bit in the third. Goes ahead of his teammate Stroll to 4th, a 1:16.596.
For a minute, when the 2 minute warning came up, I thought it was a red flag.
I thought it was a red flag, actually. I did see a red barrier came up and I thought, oh dear, is that a stoppage?
What?
Yeah, how long we're going to be standing here for. But here comes George Russell on time. Now, he's got a gap to Magnussen. They're all backing up in that third sector to get each other some room. So this is really ding-dong situation for the end of qualifying 1. 1 minute 20 left into turn 1 for George Russell. From 8th gear all the way to 3rd gear. Rise up the hill. Immediately, you have to set yourself up for the quick flick of turn number 3. 4th gear, 5th gear for 3. Downhill to the 4-5 chicane. You're pulling around about half a G, but when you hit the brakes, it's about 5G. A dramatic change. Down now through Casanova. Flick the car to the right, then the left. Don't go too deep. And he's done it! Exactly as I said. Russell gets on the gravel at the exit of Casanova before the Acrobata 1 corner. And that was always going to happen. He was just too unstable, Megan. You've done that. He was way too unstable coming through that part of the track. And which is he's now dropped a lot of time, but he's actually still up. So if this is Russell's only lap, where is he on the board? If I was Russell, I'd back off, get some room, and go for it again. He's going to cross the line with about 2 seconds to spare, so we will have it. Unusually here, of course, the start line and the finish line are in the exact same place as it's a MotoGP track, so we have got a little bit of advantage that we actually get bang on lap times to the nearest second. Russell goes 12th. He improved up the order. A 1:17.232. Magnussen goes 16th, can't improve, but does have another lap because the checkered flag has just come out now. Here comes Esteban Ocon. He rockets up to 6th place. Vettel is the driver at risk. Raikkonen goes up to 9th place. Russell is now safe at the moment, but he's only gone 14th. Giovinazzi goes into 13th place. Vettel drops down to 17th. Grosjean gets out of the drop zone and goes into 10th place. On board now with Gasly. Gasly goes 13th. Vettel could be eliminated in Q1. I'm having a look at his lap time. Personal best second sector. Latifi can't improve. Russell's out of qualifying in the moment. So right now, Russell's out qualified Latifi once again. Ricciardo goes to P7. Here comes Carlos Sainz in the McLaren to the line. He's 13th and safe already, but goes 8th to ensure it. Albon's just behind him in 9th place. Does he improve? 4th place for Albon. Here comes Lando Norris. He's going to definitely improve up the order. And now this should kick out Giovinazzi, and does. Norris goes 8th. Giovinazzi eliminated from qualifying. Vettel from 19th. Can he improve? It's only 14th fastest, but he kicks out the race winner from Italy of Pierre Gasly. Leclerc goes 6th fastest. Kvyat goes 10th. I don't think Russell or Magnussen are improving lap times. Magnussen's backed off of the lap. I'm looking for George Russell. He has 2 backed off of the lap. So Russell gets eliminated, but keeps the advantage of out-qualifying Nicholas Latifi. But last week's race winner at the Italian Grand Prix, Pierre Gasly, gets eliminated from the first part of qualifying. And that, Megan, was quite dramatic because there was a volley of cars straight after one another to get into the running order.
Yeah, and Russell hasn't actually crossed the line yet.
No, he hasn't. I'm having a look at where Russell is. I think he's coming to the pit lane now, but my monitor's not showing him. Russell's in the pit lane.
Russell's being cheeky.
Yeah, Russell's coming to the pit lane, so he is definitely out as Giovinazzi gets stopped at the weighbridge. Well, that's disappointing for Williams as well. They were looking good there for just a second. It's very worrying for Sebastian Vettel. The fastest time he could do in this session was only 15th fastest. He could be eliminated, Megan, in the second part of qualifying. That is the shocking part. But eliminated then in Q1 is Pierre Gasly, Antonio Giovinazzi, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, and Kevin Magnussen.
Maybe next week Latifi will get.
Well, we've got a break next week, and it's Russia the week after, so we've got Russia.
I hope he gets better.
Russia's a circuit that
just
suits.
wherever, eh?
Russia's a circuit that suits the TV. He won there in Formula 2, so that could be the advantage.
Better be.
Just to quickly get you who's going through, we've got Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, Albon, and Perez, Leclerc, Stroll, Ocon, Norris, Kvyat, Ricciardo, Sainz, Raikkonen, Grosjean, and Vettel. All going through to the next part of qualifying. And this was the moment, Megan, at Casanova, where Russell went a bit off the track, caught the gravel trap, and it wasn't really his fault. Too much speed downhill and just drags you off. It's easy to do. You've done it. I've done it.
Yeah.
Just talk us through there, Megan, the undulation on this circuit. How did you actually find it when you were on the simulator? What was did you find it tricky to learn the track, or was it quite easy to get the rhythm?
It wasn't tricky to learn the track, and I could get the rhythm quite easily. It's just at certain corners, they just kind of mess you up, and you just end up
compromised.
Going off.
Yeah, compromising the lap. So, this is the qualifying session for the Tuscan Grand Prix. We've just had the Q1, if you're just joining us.
Oh.
And Antonio Giovinazzi is beyond angry. He's hit the back of He's actually thrown his gloves down, and then he punched the wall as he was walking away. And you can see how much the vibration on the back. So if I do that, you can get the idea. He was vibrating a lot, the back wall. Anthony Davidson is at the sky pad. He's just having a look at the Pierre Gasly. Now, what's he done wrong? This is down to turn 1. A lot of oversteer on his lap. Comes into turn 2 and 3. Now, Ant stopped it. Now, why has he stopped it? I think it got compromised. And later on in the lap as well, down towards turn 10, just after the Acquabatta corners. He's fighting a lot of oversteer on that car, Megan, actually, as Pierre Gasly. Yeah. Maybe that explains why he was eliminated. The car doesn't look as set up as it did last weekend.
He is oversteering way too much.
Let's have a look at Sebastian Vettel then. He's only 15th fastest. What did he do wrong on the part of the track? He's too suffering with understeer. Now, the wind is blowing to the north, and it isn't quite a big wind speed, just 4 kilometres. But Vettel not looking good.
Getting quite a lot of curb as well.
Yep, and it's the same at big oversteer moment at turn 2 and 3 before dropping down the hill to 4 and 5.
Oh, and he just went off the track.
Yeah, that's not good at all for Sebastian Vettel. A lot of work to do for him as well going forward. But an interesting session then here for the first part of qualifying for the Tuscan Grand Prix. Megan, is your pick for pole still Verstappen, even though Bottas out-qualified him in this part of the session?
Yeah. Do you know, I love Red Bull garage. I don't know why. Garage. I just love Red Bull garage.
I don't blame you. It does look a beautiful garage, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just so organised and bright, and it actually feels like a racing garage.
Yeah, it does. I know exactly what you mean. It does feel a bit more energetic going forward. Pierre Gasly. Is that Pierre Gasly? I can't think so. No, it's Danny Kvyat.
It's difficult because you've got Red Bull next to it.
And they've both got the same type of helmet this weekend as well, so it's hard to see exactly who's where. Lance Stroll goes through to that part of the session. Stroll ended up P7, but he fell down the order quite a lot. He couldn't seem to get the advantage and couldn't get the lap time either on the track. He was getting compromised left and right. So that's work to do for him. Franz Tost on the pit wall, who is the team principal at AlphaTauri. Two-time team winner now. Sorry, Megan.
Do you know, it's been annoying me all day. I want him to pull that mask up more.
Yeah, it's just over his nose for Franz Tost.
Yeah,
every time we see him.
Annoying me.
Yes, I can tell. It's annoying me, actually. I don't like the fact is that when you see some of the garages, they've just got it below the nose and just on the mouth. It's like, that's not where it goes. Okay, so here is the Q1 results. Look at that, a 1:15.749 for Bottas. Hamilton a 1:15.778, so they're close together. Verstappen is a couple of tenths off, about 5. But the drop zone was actually quite close. Vettel got through by 0.124 seconds. So that was very close to getting eliminated. But Ferrari's 1,000th race, and we're underway. And the green light is on. And qualifying 2 is underway. 15 minutes, 15 cars will head out onto this Mugello circuit as we look at Ferrari's 1,000 race stats. First race, Monaco 1950, 999 races. Their first pole and the first win came at the 1951 British Grand Prix at Silverstone. And they've been winning ever since. They've got the highest win rate in Formula One. But they're not actually our oldest team. They're the longest serving team, but our oldest team is Alfa Romeo, who returned to the sport a couple of seasons ago. Albon's heading out to the track on new soft compound tyres. So let's have a look. Who's going out where? So Bottas, Hamilton going out. And as far as I can see, the cars have gone out of the pit lane. They're all going out on brand new soft compound tyres. That strikes me like they're going to start the race on the soft tyre if they get through to the third session, which is obviously what we usually expect, but no one's risking it to go for a set of mediums, which I would. 59-lap race, high tyre deg, and as you said, a two-stopper is likely if a safety car comes out.
Yes.
And thus I can't see them wanting to risk a one-stopper at a track they've never raced at and don't have that much data on. So I think a two-stopper would be the more likely situation. They've tested it, of course, but that wasn't until back in 2012 they tested at this circuit, and we've had 2 different generations of cars since then. So they really are going to be out of luck on this one. Renault just tweeted saying that they are heading out onto the onto the soft compound tyre. They did consider mediums, but they've obviously changed their mind. Ricciardo just entering turns 2 and 3 now as we watch Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari.
See what you mean about looking up.
Yes, it's annoying, isn't it? That's why I've just decided to stand up. You're welcome to stand if you like.
Yeah, though, then my back will hurt.
You just sit there, old at 15. This is Lewis Hamilton. He's out-qualified Bottas 6-2 this year. 2 for Bottas was pole positions, of course. I've just got this feeling that Hamilton, as you said, Megan, this isn't a track that suits him. This is a track that suits Bottas' driving style. He said it on Thursday, and he said it this morning in practice 3. It's a circuit that suits Bottas more, but is Hamilton going to have any sort of advantage? Can he top a session for the first time this weekend? Because he was 7th, then he was 4th, then he was 2nd this morning, and now he's been runner-up in Q1 to Bottas. Verstappen slots into 2nd place as we start the lap times now. Bottas actually backed off a little bit out of the last corner and let Verstappen through. So Bottas not wanting Hamilton's toe and dirty air in this part of the track. He wants clean air as he's got a nice little run coming down towards the Casanova complex. Hamilton catching the gravel at Casanova as we come into the I can't say it now. As we come into the Aquabata corners, 1 and 2.
Aquabata?
I can't remember how you say it now. It's gone out of my head. It'll be Aquabata. There we go.
Aquabata.
Aquabata 1 and 2. Hamilton fastest first sector of all with a 26.910. Bottas was a 27.0, so only a 10th separates the two at the moment. Hamilton is again pulling something out of that magic box of his because he's just finding more and more time as the lap goes on. Bottas might just be humouring Hamilton here, luring himself into a sense of security.
Yeah, I'm not good at this. I secretly am.
Yeah, just knows exactly how to pull and push the buttons. Hamilton to the line. It's going to be a 1:15.309. Definitely the fastest lap of the race, fastest lap of the weekend so far. 1:15.4 for Verstappen. Here comes Bottas. It's been a bad lap. He's been compromised. He does go second, and it's a 1:15.322. And that compromising on the back of the track with Verstappen backing off only cost them 0.013. 13 one-thousandths of a second. Fantastic. Here comes Ocon to the line. He goes to P5, last of the current runners. Here comes Sebastian Vettel, 14th. He's going to go, just behind Ocon, 6th, last of the runners, 1:17.006. This is not looking good at all, is it? Leclerc goes 5th, 1:16.3, a second off of Hamilton's time already. Ferrari are looking desperate at their 1000th Grand Prix. Perez goes into 7th, a 1:16.489. Watch further back. Albon, 1:15.914, looking good. Here comes Raikkonen, P10, 1:18.202. Ricciardo on his first run dominates and goes 5th, 1:16.243. Kvyat 13th, goes 10th, 1:16.854. We have our elimination zone. It's got Vettel and Raikkonen in it. Here comes Norris to push Kvyat into it. Norris only manages 10th, a 1:16.671. That car not looking stable all weekend long. Sainz goes into 12th, a 1:16.854. That's a good time for Carlos Sainz on the board, but he's got a lot of work to do to improve up. But 12th fastest, there or thereabouts where McLaren has been. But Lando Norris, the driver at risk, as we have our runners now. It's Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll, Leclerc, Ocon, Perez, and Norris. The top 10 in the elimination zone at the moment is Kvyat, Sainz, Vettel, Raikkonen, and Grosjean. Grosjean starts the lap up towards turn 1 in the Haas. Megan, do you think he's on borrowed time?
Yeah, I do. Oh, Ricciardo.
We can't hear, but we can hear on the radio. Ricciardo's joking on the radio, saying that there's something on the radio transmission. Maybe he's picking up the local Tuscany channel. Nice music in the background will certainly help me concentrate. In fact, I have heard that one of the drivers in the World Endurance Championship a couple of years ago, in fact, quite a lot of years ago actually used to listen to music on his qualifying lap. He used to put it on his team radio. He had nice, relaxing music so he can concentrate as he went round the track. To get
I
the
would
night
probably
runs.
ask them to do that. If I
That
was
would
the
be
driver.
that's the keen thing. Just something music to get you concentrating or getting fired up. You see it on the grid as well. The drivers got the headphones in or ear pods in. They're just listening to either aggressive music to get them pumped up or nice relaxing music so they can concentrate more. I know that Lewis Hamilton has a lot of hip hop music on as well and heavy metal as well if he's having a tricky race to concentrate on. I know, actually, surprisingly of all, Lando Norris listens to the top 40 as he goes through as well. That's why he's always singing on the team radios. Like yesterday when he said it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it was, like a roller coaster a couple of years ago. Norris really is one of the light-hearted spirits in Formula One. That's Lance Stroll, and he's not coming out on the track yet, is he? He's 6th fastest. Now, is he going to put a set of softs on? I think because everyone else has. He can't risk it and going on the mediums and being slower, so it'll be softs. Max Verstappen coming out of the pit lane. I don't like the look of this. Oh, it's a tight pit lane as it normally is, but Max Verstappen nearly making contact with one of the racing points. It's Lance Stroll. On the radio, we heard it over our ears. Stroll bleeped everything up. That's why I had to go. Lance Stroll being released into the path of Max Verstappen in the pit lane. That was a very dangerous situation. And it is a tight pit lane here at Mugello. It's big enough for MotoGP. It's just big enough for Formula One cars. So that was a bit of a clench time for Max Verstappen. New underwear on standby for him. 13th for Sebastian Vettel at the moment. He's 1.6 seconds off of Hamilton's time. He's 6 tenths away, Megan, from safety. And Leclerc even is probably in the danger zone as well, I'd say.
I don't know why, though. When we just saw Max, he literally just looked like he was stunned. He was just looking forward, just like...
Eyes focused. And he wasn't even looking at the timing screens, was he? He was looking straight ahead.
I think he was in shock or something.
Maybe he was catched his eye on the television as well. It would certainly have surprised me going forward. It was a dangerous situation.
It's like, how close was I to death?
Yeah, probably. They stare in the eyes all the time. These are the fastest drivers in the world, and it's the most dangerous sport in the world as well. We keep getting that proven in this past decade as well. Carlos Sainz, 12th fastest. Norris, 10th. The McLaren battle still raging on for qualifying. Last year, it was advantage Norris. He outqualified Sainz 10-9 at Abu Dhabi. That was an exciting battle. They just get one-upping themselves throughout the season. And Lando Norris watching on with the Italian helmet as well. Last weekend, it was a pepperoni pizza-themed helmet. This weekend, it's more dedicated to Ferraris. Even the safety car, if it comes out tomorrow, you'll see, or rather you'll hear us describing about it, unless you're watching along the commentary while watching the television, which is what this is all designed for.
I love Lando's helmets.
Yes, you'll see that the medical and safety car have been repainted red for tomorrow. The safety car's red.
I'm sure
no
we'll
longer
see
silver.
them.
Yeah, so there's no silver arrow on the grid. 5 minutes to go. The Burgundy Ferrari heading out now, the Scuderia, in their 1000th race. The Scarlet Ferrari colours. Although they haven't actually changed it on the official pit board, but on the graphic, what they have changed actually is now it matches Alfa Romeo. So it's getting quite hard to see who's where if you look. Because Vettel and Leclerc out on the driver track, and then we've got Raikkonen just behind us a dot. And it gets tricky watching.
You're just like, is that a Ferrari? No. No, it's...
You forget which is which. Carlos Sainz heading back out. Brand spanking new set of soft compound tyres. Zach Brown sitting on the pit wall. All socially distanced, of course, even though they're still in the same bubble. As Kvyat, Sainz, Vettel, Grosjean and Raikkonen all sit in the drop zone waiting to see who's going to be next in terms of qualifying performance. It's going to be a big session, isn't it, going forward? 4 minutes to go. And we're going to get our second run now. Megan, who's going to top this part of the session? Is it going to be Hamilton, Bottas or Verstappen?
Hopefully Verstappen, but I think Bottas.
Oh, you think Bottas is going to pull something out of the bag? Well, there's not much separating them, as I said, 13 thousandths of a second. Separating Hamilton and Bottas at the top two at the moment. So I agree with you there. Going forward, Lance Stroll. He's now out on the track as well, just out of his lap. We're following Sergio Perez. Nice camera angle there through turns 2 and 3. Inside the curb as he drops down. 4 and 5, a quick flick right and left. Oh, and just got a flashback to MotoGP. The battle between in 2013 and 15, of course, between Jorge Lorenzo and Maverick Vinales. And then, of course, Marc Marquez side by side, constantly changing between the two. Fantastic racing. Of course, get well soon. Marc Marquez not at the racing at the moment.
Why was one of the drivers just...
That was Grosjean, wasn't it? I did wonder that. Roman Grosjean just loitering at the side of the track, trying to get some free air. And he's let Ocon go through as well.
Just waiting.
That's bizarre. Lando Norris doing the same thing, though. And Carlos Sainz, as Perez rounds the last corner, trying to get some heat and temperature at the exit into the carcass. I do notice your left-hand side tyre does go cold around this track. It's quite hard to get temperature, and he doesn't improve, Megan. He's 1.2 seconds off the pace. He got compromised heavily in that last sector anyway by Carlos Sainz, so not great there. Is Stroll going to improve up the order? 6th at the moment, comes across the line in the middle of our second runs. Stroll goes 6th, doesn't improve. Vettel just behind. He will be the next to cross the line. And this is the one we're watching because he's 13th fastest at the moment. Is he going to improve up the order? Last corner.
Only by a bit.
2 minutes to go. In the Q2, here comes Sebastian Vettel to the line. 13th at the moment. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. He stays 13th, 1:16.858. Leclerc doesn't improve either. Here comes Raikkonen. Raikkonen does improve, but only goes from 14th to 13th. And does Norris improve up the order? They're not improving on these lap times. What is going on? Here comes Norris. Norris 1.3 seconds off the pace. They're all a second off their fastest time. What on earth is happening here at Mugello? Here comes, we've got a yellow in the second sector. Green flag now, track clear. Here comes Carlos Sainz to the line. Personal best 1 and 2. And finally, an improvement. But he knocks out his teammate, Lando Norris. And look at that. There's gravel, dust being kicked up, just coming out of Casanova. There's dust blowing across the start and finish. And I wonder what's happened there. Ocon goes P7. Here comes Grosjean, he's 15th. Stays 15th, a second off. Again, what is going on? All these cars are about a second off their own fastest times, and none of them are improving. So the drop zone with 45 seconds to go looks like this. Norris, Kvyat, Raikkonen, Vettel, and Grosjean. What is happening? They're all going to get... Actually, no, Grosjean's not going to get another lap. He's going to have to push. Same goes for Sainz. I don't think Vettel will get another lap. Leclerc and Raikkonen just. Don't think about Norris. I think Norris might be eliminated.
Norris might have one lap left in him.
I'm just looking at the clock. 19 seconds left. Just coming into the last corner. Vettel pits. Vettel's out. Vettel's into the pit lane.
He's just like giving up.
I think that's it. I think in the most bizarre twist, we've seen the runs for qualifying already. With 3 seconds left, the checkered flag's coming out. Norris is backed off. The checkered flag is out. Norris has missed it, as has Sainz, Ocon, and Grosjean. No other cars are out on the track. So we have a bizarre situation where they've all gone out for 2 runs. They've done one more run and all got a second off their best time and have all missed the checkered flag and can't do another lap. Wow, that is surprising. And Danny Kvyat at Casanova caused the yellow flag, doing exactly what George Russell did, going off the track before Acura battle 1 and 2. So, race control as well, off track and continue 10-7, well, we knew that. But in the most bizarre form, we've had an anticlimactic second qualifying. But it does mean Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll, Ocon, Leclerc, Perez and Sainz all go through to qualifying 2, but eliminated from this part of the session Lando Norris, Danny Kvyat, Kimi Raikkonen. In Ferrari's 1000th Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel starts 14th and Romain Grosjean is 15th. Megan, what on earth happened there? That's way beyond bizarre.
I don't know. That's the most unusual outlist I've ever seen.
Well, it's not that unusual. It is actually slightly unusual for the fact is that we expected to have a battle at the end of qualifying, but they all came in one by one and they all sort of just backed off.
It's mainly unusual because of the 3 of Norris, Raikkonen and Vettel.
Yeah, well, Vettel eliminated again in qualifying 2. That's a running theme this year.
It's mainly Raikkonen and Norris. I'm surprised that nowadays.
Yeah, I was expecting Raikkonen and Norris to improve up the order, actually. I did not expect Norris to be eliminated, but Sainz has got through to the next part of qualifying. Gasly's already in trouble.
It's strange. You expect more from Norris than you do from Vettel these days.
Yes, you're right. Well, that is a shocker. So we'll give you the grid then from people starting 11th downwards. Norris starts 11th, Kvyat starts 12th, Raikkonen starts 13th, Vettel starts 14th, Grosjean starts 15th, Gasly starts in 16th, Grosjean starts 17th, Russell starts 18th, Latifi starts 19th, and Magnussen starts in 20th. A reminder, it's a 1-place grid penalty for wherever Sergio Perez qualifies in this session. For causing contact with Kimi Raikkonen yesterday. But Perez is in the top 10. If he qualifies 9th, he does start 10th. It doesn't really affect the grid that much. So whatever happens, Vettel starts 14th on the grid. And that in Ferrari's 1000th race is a slap in the face. Especially as Leclerc got 8th fastest and has been improving throughout the weekend. Wow. Don't know what to say to that. We've got about 5 minutes until the next part of qualifying. Just give you a quick reminder as to what's coming up here on the channel for Sunday in terms of the race day coverage. At 1 o'clock UK time, we'll have the Sunday race preview. At 2 o'clock, we'll have Grand Prix Live with watch-along commentary of the race. And at 9 o'clock in the evening, the Sunday race review as well. So, Megan, anything you've noticed so far during qualifying?
Boring.
Yeah, it has been a bit dull, that second session, hasn't it? I can understand, but please do stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Q3, pick for pole. It's got to be between Bottas and Hamilton. I think Verstappen's a bit too far out of it.
Bottas.
You're going Bottas.
You watch Vettel win.
Vettel will win.
I mean,
Verstappen will win.
I'm thinking too much about how Vettel literally...
Eliminated?
Yeah.
Again,
I wish Vettel would win.
Ferrari, everybody wishes Vettel would win. 1000th race for Ferrari, and they start their highest drive at 14th. 4-time champion struggling in a Ferrari. Wow. And it's flabbergasted.
I kind of wish he would win.
Yeah.
This weekend. He can just say,
for Vettel to win a race, especially this weekend, he would need 13 other cars ahead of him to have some sort of horrible accident that kicks them all out of the race.
I hope.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're in for what looks to be a battle between the Red Bulls and the Mercedes. That's an interesting battle.
To be honest, when isn't it? It's out in Renaults nowadays.
Last weekend wasn't a battle between the Mercedes and Red Bull. Red Bull had a shocker, so did Mercedes. It was a fight between McLaren and AlphaTauri and even Racing Point.
Yeah.
You missed we've chosen the wrong ways to broadcast live. B, you chose the wrong race to miss last weekend.
I stick by my decision.
And 3, Ferrari's 1000th Grand Prix is not going their way. How embarrassing is that?
I must say, I'm slowly beginning to think of both like McLaren and Racing Point as some of my favourite teams.
They are.
So much more life in them. Rather than that just seems dull. The Mercedes garage, it just seems so dull and lifeless.
Nothing seems to be happening in there. They're all pretty much standing around, keeping quiet. No one's talking. We're at Racing Point. Everyone's smiling and laughing.
It seems so lifeless there, though. Look at Red Bull garage. At least it seems to have life in it.
We were talking about Alexander Albon in free practice 3 and was saying how it was disappointing that he was having such a terrible season. Finally, he's got through to qualifying 3 on merit. He's 4th fastest. This might be a great qualifying for him. You watch, you'll put it in the wall now. Just commentator's curse, ultimate there. Green light is about to come on.
I do that a lot more than you. Curse them.
About 90 seconds until the green light comes on here for qualifying 3, the last session of the day. Track temperature now 44 degrees, air temperature 29 degrees as well. It is roasting in Mugello. It's warmed up a bit here in the UK as well, for those of you who want to know. It's now 19 degrees, so a bit warmer. No, didn't have to put a coat on for qualifying. Thumbs up for that one. Carlos Sainz stands by. Here we go then, folks. 12 minutes of qualifying. Stand well back because we're about to see blast off, unless we get another situation where it's going to be a bit of a dull, bizarre qualifying.
Do you know, I just look in Mercedes garage and I just see so much boredom.
They're all looking a bit dull, aren't they? Come on, smile. That person looks like Matt Gallagher, who's the WTF1 presenter. The green light is a bit long going on here, actually. There's been a bit more of a delay than I expected for this session.
Do you know why I think it looks so boring?
Dull
and boring there? Because they need a bit more colour in that garage.
Yeah, it's a bit too grey for my liking. It doesn't make you feel good, does it?
I get the team colours, but still.
Bit of life in it.
Yeah. It won't kill them to add a bit of colour.
Whereas compared to this one, the Eraser or one of those sherbet yogurts you used to get with Racing Point with the BWT logos on it. So that is Lance Stroll going to the end of the pit lane. And that's Lewis Hamilton with a brand new set of soft compound tyres, all ready to go back out. And away we go.
They also need a bit more light.
Where we go. Well, we've got a splash of red in them. And the green light is on, and the third and final part of qualifying is underway for the Tuscan Grand Prix. 12 minutes, 10 cars. The top 10 shootout begins. Stroll, Sainz, Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Albon, Ricciardo, Ocon, Leclerc, Perez. All the cars in this part of qualifying, and they're all heading out, Megan, pretty much at the same time. So that's going to be another situation here.
Recipe for disaster.
Recipe for disaster, yeah. Part 2 of qualifying. Oh, I'll tell you what, if we have another situation where nobody betters their time in the second run, this first run could decide the pole time. Because I can't explain why they all lost to second on their second runs in Q2. That was just bizarre. I didn't see much of a train happening either.
Yeah.
Look at that, though. 94 poles for Lewis Hamilton. He's chasing his 95th here today. Breaking records. Schumacher did 68. Ayrton Senna, 65. Sebastian Vettel, currently at 57. Alain Prost on 33. So, yeah, big gap there. But now Lewis Hamilton, 94 career poles, chasing 95. And then, of course, chasing his 90th career win tomorrow at the Tuscan Grand Prix. We were hoping he would actually equal 91 this weekend, but Monza didn't go his way. So it looks to be, if he does get 91, it might be next weekend, 2 weeks' time in Russia, which is annoying. But then he beats it at the Nürburgring, which is another lovely race that I can't wait to go back to. The Nürburgring is a beautiful racetrack. The Nordschleife just alongside it as well. The Green Hell, they used to call it. Well, they call this place in Mugello for MotoGP one of the roller coasters on the calendar. And we're now getting that roller coaster on the calendar as Carlos Sainz heads downhill towards turn number 1, flicks the car to the right, and then pulls it uphill immediately into the braking zone at turn number 2. 10 minutes to go. Bit of a wiggle there on the back of that McLaren, shaking the rear. Downhill 3 and 4. The first sector here in Mugello always reminds me of, it's a bit blocky. Reminds me of Baku. It's blocky. It's left, right, left, right. It's only here when we get to Casanova and Acquaviata 1 and 2 that we really get to see the flowing nature of this track. And this is a beautiful track. Stroll, 27.482 in the first sector, fastest overall. Carlos Sainz, 5th at the moment, but personal best in the first sector. We're all watching Lewis Hamilton's timesheets, though, as he comes through sector 1, and it's a 26.881. Bottas coming through the next part, and it's a 28.848. They are separated by 4 1,000ths of a second. They are getting closer and closer. So it's Bottas who has the advantage in the first sector. Sainz will be the first to cross the line as he comes up the hill. Takes the checkered flag. 8th fastest at the moment. And obviously goes top. A 1:17.870 is at the current pace of the lap time, though. Here comes Lance Stroll. Is he going to go quicker? Look at that. Hamilton fastest second sector. He has the advantage again over Bottas. Stroll, a 1:16.356. Hamilton over the curb in the exit at turn 15 as he pushes it to the line, opens the DRS. Is it pole? Yes, a 1:15.144, the fastest ever lap around Mugello. Here comes Bottas. Has he got anything to improve across the line? No! 1:15.203. He's only second fastest. So Bottas can't do anything. Here's Max Verstappen. Can he split the two Mercedes on the front row of the grid? Answer no. It's a 1:15.546. They're only separated by 6 100ths of a second. Bottas versus Hamilton will have a going in the next part of the qualifying session. Leclerc crosses the line in 5th. Albon rockets to 4th. Red Bull lock out the second row of the grid. And this is Ricciardo trundling across the line, but does improve to 6th fastest on a 1:16.543. Perez and Ocon still waiting on their times. But it's Hamilton versus Bottas for pole position. 4 tenths back is Verstappen. That's a big change considering there's no party modes, Megs.
Yeah.
What do you think then? Albon getting Verstappen? 4 tenths between them. But then again, there's 4 tenths between Verstappen and Hamilton as well. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does.
Yeah.
So here's Hamilton. He'll come into the pit lane now. Quick change of tyres. Quick dash of fuel. Literally, when I say it would probably just be a little splash of fuel, actually. If you've ever had one of your tall glasses and you have a glass of water or orange juice or whatever you have, that is about the size you get for a qualifying lap.
Really?
Yeah, just that much little fuel is used. So the car is light and it can get you around the track. They only require that much fuel sample to take after the session. So you can burn it as much as you like. It is minimal, these fuel tanks, for qualifying setup. When it comes to the race, of course, they have to have over, I think it was 100 litres, 110 litres, something like that. They have to shove in that fuel tank. But yeah, it's only half a litre they can do on a qualifying lap. Insane. Absolutely insane. 6 minutes left. Perez on the time now. This is his first run on the board. Downhill, uphill again to 2 and 3. It changes dramatically, doesn't it, here?
Yeah. It does.
Megan's having a look at the timing screen. Look at the green sectors that Perez is currently doing. What's the first sector time as he comes across the control line now? What's the first sector time? Because you're looking at the monitor.
27.508.
That puts him 6 tenths of a second off of Lewis Hamilton. So I'm not going to have the advantage time yet. So this could put him actually into P4 for Sergio Perez. So Perez 9th, but according to his first sector time, could put him into 4th position, which is currently ahead of Alexander Albon.
His second sector times are 20.971.
He's 9 tenths off the second now, so he's dropping time. But he did go fastest of all in 2 of the corners through turns 11 and 12. He was fastest. I'm just having a quick look. It's Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Albon, Stroll, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Ocon. Perez hasn't set a time yet, neither has Esteban Ocon. That's why they're on the 5th row of the grid. Perez does cross the line now and goes just behind Alexander Albon, making it a 2x2x2 event on the grid. Row 1, Mercedes. Row 2, Red Bull. Row 3, Racing Point. It's 2x2 at the moment as Perez goes to 5th, Stroll goes to 6th. 5 minutes to go. Megan, if you were the cars, when would you head out on the track? How many minutes to go?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Brave call.
Well, you can get around in like a minute 15, then.
Yeah, but on a slow lap, they've got a 1:40 lap time minimal.
They would still get like 2 laps in.
Let's hope.
Maybe a third.
Let's hope. We've just clicked over an hour here on the broadcast as it is coming up. It's got very dark outside our commentary box as well, if you've noticed as well. It's gone very cloudy over the back of Mugello as well, actually. It's blue skies predicted, but I can just see on the pit lane channel just a little bit of cloud cover at the back half of the circuit. Still bright sunshine in the pit lane, though, which is great news. And Megan, you're absolutely right. 4 minutes to go. Out they come on the track. Hamilton will give the toe to Valtteri Bottas. And that's Leclerc getting stopped in the pit lane, as he's now split the 2 Mercedes at the exit. And that was Hamilton nearly running into the side there of Leclerc. Here comes Bottas. He exits the pit lane. And, one of the cars coming out. Who was that? That was a McLaren. It must be Carlos Sainz. Nearly hit the side there as well.
What is it with them and hitting each other?
I know, they always seem to be everywhere. Albon's up on the jacks. He's not going out yet, so he's going to go out in a couple of moments, in my opinion. He'll go out with, 2:40 to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another 45-second wait. They're all coming out to the track now. There's Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen are in the line, with Bottas just coming round to turns 2 and 3 now. Sainz, Ocon, Stroll, Ricciardo follow them out on the track, all to do their last runs. They're in that order to do a qualifying lap time. Here's Toto Wolff wearing the mask wrong, I'd just like to point out as well. It's a pet peeve. Hamilton, again, going after 95 career pole positions. If he can pull it off, I will be very surprised, because there's a stiff competition to Valtteri Bottas. They are separated now by 0.059 of a second. Megan, flip a coin. Who's going to be on pole? Hamilton or Bottas?
Bottas.
You're still saying Bottas.
I live in hope.
You live in hope? Hope favours the brave. Let's hope that Bottas can be braver. Nope, I'll tell you what. Hope springs eternal. There we go. That's a throwback. Fastest sector times. Well, actually, the top 3 share them. Bottas shares sector 1. Hamilton shares sector 2. And Verstappen shares sector 3. They've all got their own fastest times in the top 3 on the board. Hamilton then, with 2 minutes to go in the session, will come round. Not a red flag. It's the 2-minute warning coming up on the board. Here we go. 2 minutes to go here for qualifying 3 of the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton starts his last lap downhill towards turn number 1. Hard on the brakes, flick the car to the left and right, 191 miles an hour, brakes all the way down from 8th gear to 4th gear, then rise it up, 4th again at turn 3, 4 and 5 a carbon copy. It's all looking good so far, isn't it?
Yeah, and I could tell you could see that I put out a red flag for a sec.
Yeah, the red flag not coming out. It was the 2-minute warning barrier, which they need to change.
That keeps me catching me out.
Go Leclerc on the YouTube chat. I can't believe that Mercedes doing it at Ferrari's home. Yep, they are absolutely dominating 1-2. The only Ferrari in this session is Charles Leclerc. He's running 8th, and we've got a yellow in the first sector. And it's Esteban Ocon, who I think has spun at the exit of turn 3. That's going to bring out the yellows, and that's going to spoil everybody else's lap. It has already spoiled Valtteri Bottas's lap as he went through the yellow part of the sector. So Bottas will not be on pole position for this Grand Prix. Hamilton was already past it. He's had a bad first sector. He's had an okay second sector, but I think it's all over, personally. Hamilton doesn't improve, but Verstappen behind might not improve either. Verstappen stays 3rd across the line. Leclerc did get through without the yellow flag, is improving, and goes 5th on a 1:16.270. That's probably the best they could hope for, Ferrari. But Esteban Ocon spun, and I think he stopped on the track. We've now got a green flag, but that Ocon hasn't set a time, so Perez will now start 7th on the grid. Stroll gets up a position, starts 6th, but with 5 seconds left, Bottas got caught up in that yellow flag and has compromised the entire end of qualifying. Everybody not improving once again. Esteban Ocon bringing out the yellow. No time on the board, but it's an amazing 70th anniversary as well for Formula One and Ferrari. Their 1000th race. Leclerc starts 5th, best they can hope for, but it is Lewis Hamilton who takes a record-breaking 95th career pole. He keeps doing it week after week, moving the goalpost further than ever before. Hamilton on pole for the Tuscan Grand Prix. What do you make of that one then, Megs?
I think it's unlucky.
That the Ocon brought out the yellow?
Yeah. Otherwise, Bottas would have got on pole.
Here's what happened. Coming out of turn 3, does he do exactly what Lando Norris did? Yes, he did. Gets on the spin, gets on the AstroTurf, hits the gravel, spins it. I think he even hit the wall. He did just touch the wall with the rear wing.
Those tyres are just like
destroyed. Look, he doesn't have to start the tire. It doesn't have to start those tires going into the race tomorrow. And Esteban Ocon ruins his lap. Did just kiss the wall. And he stalled it as well. And this was why Bottas couldn't improve, because coming through turns 2 and 3, the spin's already happened and the yellow flags are right there and couldn't improve, and he had to back off straight away. So that was Valtteri Bottas's lap gone. So it all goes to Lewis Hamilton. And again, it all went, Megan, just as I said, on the first run of the procedure. It was all going to go on run number 1. Let's talk you through the results then. And Valtteri Bottas has actually parked at the wrong place. He's parked at the pit lane entrance, but he should have parked on the grid, because Parc Fermé is all the way down at the other end of the pit lane, and it's too far to go. So he should have parked on the grid. Lewis Hamilton taps his W11 and takes pole in front of the fans. For the first time this year, we have fans, and they're clapping him as well. It's pole position for Lewis Hamilton, with his teammate Valtteri Bottas alongside, and all Red Bull Row 2 with Verstappen ahead of Albon. Then we get Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Ocon, the top 10. After that, we see Norris, Kvyat, Raikkonen, Vettel, Grosjean, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Russell, Latifi, and Kevin Magnussen. The grid for the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix. Megan, final thoughts from you from qualifying? You're thinking. Dramatic. Well, I asked you for a couple, but you gave me one.
That was last.
Corner?
Corner.
Yeah, nicely done. Right, to give you the coverage details, we're back tomorrow on Sunday for the race preview show at 1 o'clock. Grand Prix Live watch along is coming up as well. 2 o'clock UK time tomorrow. Tune in for the whole race commentary. And then Sunday race review is at 9 o'clock as well. But 2 o'clock tomorrow, live here on YouTube for the Sunday race, which is going to be absolutely dramatic. It's Hamilton versus Bottas down towards turn 1. Thanks to Megan for joining us. Thanks for you as well at home watching on. Have a good night. And it's Hamilton on pole position here in Tuscany. Bye for now.